What's up, everybody? This is your boy, Jamichael.
This your girl, Quita.
And we are...
Sayles Life Therapy.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we are here to talk about... What are we here to talk about?
We're going to talk about the roles of a husband and wife in the household.
Okay. So...
Well, our version.
Our version of the roles. However, disclaimer, we are not licensed therapists and nothing like that. We just giving our advice to the people with love.
Right.
So, what do you think that society thinks that the roles of a husband and wife should be?
The same as it was when my grandparents were living. The husband worked, wife stay at home, barefoot, pregnant, taking care of the kids, household chores.
Yeah. So, me, I think that's what society sees it as a husband should work as he should. We'll get into that. I think the husband, they think that the husband should work and the wife should stay at home, like she said, barefoot and pregnant, and obey whatever the husband is telling them to do. They have no say so. You speak when spoken to, and you do everything.
That ain't me.
You do everything to please your husband. But
I obey him sometimes.
I feel like our roles as husband and wife are different than a lot of people, because a lot of things that we do, a lot of people don't do. Like, my wife doesn't cook as much as I do.
Why would you tell them that?
Well, my wife doesn't cook as much as I do, but I am the better cook.
I can cook a little bit.
She can cook. I'm not saying she can't cook, but that role is more of me, like, to cook, because I take on that ownership of that role. And I feel like it's more of, in your marriage, you need to know who wants to take ownership of what.
That's a good way to put it. That's a very good way of putting it.
So, what do you feel like our roles are in our marriage?
I do feel like Jamaica is a better cook than I am, so I let him have that domain because that's what he's better at. And our pastor always teaches us that when one spouse is better at something, let them have that role.
Right.
Don't ever think that you're beneath them. You know, you're beneath them because they might have a role that you're not playing, or you may not be in a role that you feel like you should be in because of your gender, basically.
So, question for you, as far as the husband having the final say so, or he's the head of the household, how do you feel about
he trying to make this video fiery?
How do you feel about that? Let's talk about it.
Well, I will say, when we got married and we did our marriage counseling, the pastor was like, you know, wife is supposed to honor and obey. And like before, like I guess you see the look on my face, and he was like, that doesn't mean he tell you what to do. No. I was like, all right. But no, I honestly feel like in our marriage that you give me the respect of having a different opinion.
Right.
Now, although...
Excuse the background noise. It's fireworks and 4th of July. People think it's still 4th of July. Excuse the fireworks. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I honestly feel like you respect me and me having my own opinion about something. Even if it's something that I dislike that you like, you know, you don't be like, well, it's what I say it is, and some of that. You give me the option to give my opinion about something, take what I say and then apply it, or, you know, brainstorm on what I said, and then you make the decision. But as far as like the final say so and everything, that is, I do give you that honor. I'd like to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What about, how do you feel about a husband and wife as far as careers?
I feel like that basically, if you both have a career, which I hope both are striving to make more out of their life. Right. If a woman wants to stay at home and be a wife, that's her career. Don't take advantage of that, or don't demean that, because she is a stay-at-home mom, because she does a lot of work. We can say that she is a hard-working woman to take care of kids. I know I couldn't stay at home all day and take care of kids. So, not saying that I won't, but I just wouldn't want to stay at home all day long and take care of kids. And that's the only thing I do as a career. But I think in roles of career-wise, if your wife makes more than you, that shouldn't be a demeaning thing for a man, because if you're a man, you still should be able to provide. I know when we were dating, or even when we got married, my wife made more money than me. Mm-hmm. And I was okay because I still handled the business that went on in our house, right, as far as paying the bills and stuff. Now, when we came together and was like, hey, we need to pay this together, but I'm going to pay the big stuff and you just pay right, the stuff that goes with it. So I just think you got to know what's going on in your household, what's going on in your relationship financially. She's better at finances than I am because I like to spend. I like to spend. I like to save. I mean, I'm a good medium. I like to save now, but I like to spend still. Yeah. So you have to find that balance. Right, it's a balance. So to me, career-wise, I don't think it should be demeaning. And the man shouldn't be like, oh, because you make more than I make more than you, that you don't have a say-so. Right. Or same as a woman. If you make more than him, you don't wear the pants in the relationship. Right. We still have to have a balance of the household. Right. You don't want to take away each other's voices. Right. That's a really good point. And you don't want your marriage or relationship to be in a place where you can't be open, with your partner about how you feel about certain things in the household. I mean, because like you said, when I first started my career in the medical field, I was making more money than him, but I never wanted him to feel like he was less than a man because I made more money than him. I always made sure he was head of the decisions and making and financing and stuff like that. Even if I was the one who put a plan out, I still had to go to him and through him to make it happen because we're a team. Right. So, definitely. So, how do you feel about the man not giving the woman a voice, period? Is that okay? No, I feel like it's demeaning. Or let me say this. Is it certain aspects in a relationship that a man should just do it and not have any say-so from his wife? Is there any time that should happen or could happen? It definitely could happen, but to me that's like a toxic trait because if neither one of us can come to each other and like talk about what's going on, how we feel about things, then why am I with you? That's true. But I'm saying in a situation where it was like at that moment you had to make a decision, you couldn't just call. What do you think about that? Like it had to be that decision made right then, or it was gonna affect both of us. I believe, I hope that you trust me enough to make that decision and know that I made it based on both of us and not just me being petty or only thinking of myself. Right. So I think that it can be done because if you know your spouse and know if they're okay with it, sometimes I think you can make a decision and be like, okay, I think this is best for both of us. Right. But I do feel like in mistakes that I've made, you have to come back and still make that, give that information of what you did, how you did it, and why you did it. Don't just be like, I did this, and that's it. That's case closed. No. And that's it. Right. You can't do that. Men, we cannot do that. Yes, we are the head of household. Mm-hmm. God has called us to be the priests, the prophets, and all that of our household, but we also have to treat our wives like the church. We have to be understanding. We have to be loyal. We have to be dedicated. We have to be there when we don't want to be there. Right. So it's a lot of aspects you have to think about as being a husband. Exactly. And even as a wife, sometimes I feel like it's like I think some women think that if they get married and become a wife, they lose their identity. Yeah.
I have not lost my identity as a wife. I mean,
girl, go. We ain't got time to wait on no truck.
when we went into marriage counseling before we got married, Pastor was like, I know you talking to me. It's like, I know you headstrong, you independent, but I know you love to lead, but you better have a husband. So you're going to have to back up and, allow him to come in and, help lead you. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to say it's been easy. But I don't feel like I've lost my voice or my identity as a wife since I married Jamarca, because if anything, I feel like I have a good balance in my marriage as far as speaking up and stuff like that, because he know that I wouldn't tell him anything to hurt him or hurt us. So he trusts that when I come to him about something, I'm saying it because I feel some way about it.
Right. And we have to know that experiences, things that happen in your relationship help you build that. It's not just, you get that when it first comes in. You have to build that. We've been together, almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Almost 10 years.
Yeah, we got to get into
but we've been married only 4 years. And that's a whole other video. But I think a lot of times that we forget that we are human. Mm-hmm. We are humans that have emotions and feel some type of way. So we have to be careful how we say things, and the experiences of being in a marriage is what help you. We don't do the same things that we did when we were in our first year of marriage that we do now.
Right.
Like, we don't have the same arguments. We don't have the same angers as we did when we first got married, because we were learning one another every day.
Right.
Different things every day, different moves, things that we don't like. It's things that I like now that I didn't like when we first got married.
Yeah.
So it just takes a give and take. It takes a give and take on the roles. It takes a yin and yang. It takes whatever you want to call it.
Right.
A high and a low. You got to know when it's time. Basically, in our marriage, we know when it's time for us to lead and when it's time for us to hit the background.
Like, we talked with some friends, another married couple that's some friends. The other week, we talked about know when it's your turn to bow.
Yeah.
Know when it's your turn to bow down and say, hey, this is my fault. I'm sorry. Everybody wants to feel like, I guess, you apologize for what you did to me and just not make it okay.
Right.
Because I think sometimes when we get married, we accept. I feel like sometimes when you get married, if you're not careful, you'll accept anything because you're so hyped up in being married that you don't realize that the choices I make right now is going to affect my marriage later on.
Right. And I call that backpedaling.
Backpedaling.
Stuff is a problem, and we're learning this. When stuff is a problem, you bring it up, say, I don't like it, and
you can address it. Like, don't let it build up, because it's going to be the one day, the smallest little thing, you move my toothbrush, and bam, there goes the whole argument, and it's just so much that was built up into it, and you're going to be like, it got to be something deeper than a toothbrush.
Yeah, it's got to be deeper than that.
Right.
So, know your spouse, know your friend.
Right. Now, we both, as far as roles, neither one of us do, well, I can do yard work, but Jamarca's allergic to, like, grass and stuff.
I look like Martin. He got beat up. Face me this big.
Yeah, Jamarca's allergic to grass and stuff like that, so he doesn't do yard work. I can do yard work, but I choose not to. So that's what we have an agreement where we will pay somebody to do our yard work.
And that's where you come to the common agreements on things that you want to do in your marriage.
Right. We both can fix things around the household and stuff like that. So right there, it's not that's your role, that's your job kind of thing. We both do the grocery shopping, so it's not like it's a quit that's your thing. It used to be my thing. It ain't my thing anymore. But with both of us, we can do it.
Right.
So, it's more of your thing now. I can kind of like back that of it.
But I think all in all, what we're trying to explain is know the roles in your marriage.
Exactly.
Don't let society tell you what the roles in your marriage has to be.
Right.
You don't have to be a wife that stays at home, barefooted, pregnant, and listen to your husband. Well, you have to still listen to your husband. But what I'm saying is you have a vital voice in your marriage. If you don't have a voice in a marriage, what are you there for? I'm waiting.
Love and compassion.
When love go out the back door, when another situation come in the front door, then what you gonna do? All right, you guys, we're back. I better went dead. So, what was you saying? Go ahead and finish.
What I was saying was, don't let your love for someone overlook their demons.
Say what?
Don't let your love for someone overlook their demons. Especially in marriage, because I've seen a lot of people be so hyped up on a person that they ignore all those red flags, and then when they get married, it's like, why didn't you know they was that type of person? Yes, you did. You just ignored what they were doing. Like you.
Or you said you could deal with it.
Right. You agree to deal with it, and God did not design marriage for us to be miserable in it.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to say we're a perfect couple or that we do everything right, that we don't have arguments and stuff like that. We do. But at the same time, I know at the end of the day, this is my husband.
Right.
And I don't want him to ever feel like he can't come to me, he can't confide in me, or that I'm not his peace. Because at the end of the day, as we have seen the things that our black men go through, or men in general with the world, that when he comes home, he has to have some form of peace at home to make him want to come home.
Right.
So, in all, my grandparents' marriage wouldn't fit our marriage for today, because most marriages for today require a 2-income household.
Right.
And then you going back and forth with the children. I know a couple that has been married for, I think, like 20-something years. And most of that time, she worked third shift. Her husband worked first shift. And that way, he could keep the babies at nighttime while she worked. And he could keep the kids, on his off time and stuff like that. That's what they did for a long time. They had to make it work. So, like you said, don't let society tell you what your household, the roles of your household should be, because you have to work that out. Now, I'm not saying, if you have good examples of a healthy marriage, it's okay to take those perspectives because you see that it's working for them, but that don't mean you have to apply everything that they do to what you have going on.
Right.
It's okay to pull little snippets here and there and apply it and see if it works for you. If it don't work, let it go. If it do work, keep it going, go on to the next thing.
Amen, sister. Well, that's all we have for y'all today. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Right. And hit that notification bell so you know when different videos come. This is our video.
Sounds like therapy. That's what it's about.
It was good.
It was good. If y'all have any questions that y'all would like to ask us,
please drop them in the comments below. And also tell us in the comments, what do you think the roles of a husband and wife are? Drop them in the comments so we can see them, and we'll answer your comments.
Right.
As always, we love you.
Be safe.
Peace.